Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back. It's a new and exciting adventure with the Rule of the Galaxy podcast. It's Joe in the pilot seat. I've got Mass, I've got Alfie. And before we get started, as always, follow us at Rule of the Galaxy SW on Twitter. Email us at ruletheGalaxySW@gmail.com or check it out, the video on YouTube, Rule of the Galaxy. Send us a message on Facebook, also at Rule of the Galaxy. Before we get started, I was hearing how wonderful Mass and Ryan have, or Mass and Ryan, Mass and Alfie have headaches. I'm glad that's never something that has affected me, but when you're lactose intolerant and you can't eat half the food that most people can eat, I sometimes go, I could deal with a headache if I could have a pizza covered in cheese. Anyway, so welcome back to another episode, chapter 87. 87. I'm pumped. I can't wait to do the 100th episode and see what kind of an extravaganza we're going to do. Maybe we should hit the road on that one. I don't know. That sounds like fun. It's only 13 weeks. Somebody look at your calendar and see how far away it is 13 weeks from now. But as we get started, I've got updates because I got all kinds of fun little Star Wars trinkets over the last week at our Star Wars pool party that we hosted. But I'll start alphabetical order. Alfie, how are you, my friend? Hopefully your headache is feeling better today.
It's feeling a little bit better, but doing pretty good. Glad to be back. I missed a few weeks due to the headaches, but hopefully I'll make it through tonight.
And that is, we are hoping the same thing. And I saw the other day you sent us all a message. You went out for some food or diapers or something and ended up
milk and diapers.
Milk and diapers and picked up some Star Wars items at the same time.
Zelia went with me, and yes, got a couple vintage collection figures and a small Star Wars puzzle. So,
okay.
Successful trip to Walmart.
You know, Walmarts are great when you can go get groceries and then go buy Star Wars toys at the same time. That's wonderful.
And it goes both ways because I hate on them so much because it's always empty. But then at the same time, it's like, thank God there wasn't more. Well, actually, as Star Wars fans, it is so hard to tell her no when all she wants is Star Wars stuff.
I get it. Like I said, one day she's either going to be writing for, acting in Star Wars, writing books, or hosting podcasts of her own related to Star Wars. So I'm excited for that. We can retire. When your 2-year-old's doing all that stuff, we can sit back and just watch and say we remembered her when she was bothering you at Walmart to pick up everything in the aisle. So Mass, welcome back. Glad to see you here. Hope you're doing well. What's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing. Just watching a little Cubs game in the background and having a good time. But when she starts doing a podcast, I'm probably gonna be dead. So,
I mean, you're not that much older than me.
No. Well, you're not far behind me, Alfie. Is what I'm trying to tell you. But
I know.
We got the Massengale short life expectancy. So,
Mass. Come on. you know that doesn't work for the Molineros because we have one of your famous pictures sitting in my living room in my house. It's been there since 2000 and it still hasn't gone away. So my kids talked about it this weekend. Why is there always a picture of Ryan Massengale in our house?
I hadn't seen that picture in forever.
For those of you watching or listening, I'll make sure I post it again. It's Mass's favorite I Dream of Jeannie picture that he took in 2000 at a Halloween party we went to. So it is fabulous. Very good. Well, Alfie, I'll start off with this topic today because you brought it up. Walmart can be great, but at the same time, Walmart can drive a Star Wars fan crazy, and Hasbro can as well, I guess, because as you know, Captain Rex is one of my favorite characters, and Walmart released, I believe it was a 4-pack exclusive of Bad Batch characters, a new version of Captain Rex. I believe it was a 6-inch where he had the cloak on, like Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and from the Bad Batch. And as soon as it went up for sale, you go to click on the button and it says out of stock, no more product. So for a person like myself who is a casual online purchaser, why do we have to have exclusives? Why does it have to be that difficult? I was looking at a picture the other day that somebody put on Twitter, and it was comparing the toy aisle of Walmart in 2012 to now, and the amount of Star Wars stuff in the toy aisle in 2012 compared to right now is completely just crazy. What was going on in 2012 in Star Wars? There weren't any movies. Disney hadn't bought them yet. Clone Wars was close to the end. Yes?
I would
No?
think so.
So what was going on that made it to where they had a full aisle of Star Wars stuff then, but now when it's owned by the biggest company in the world, you get 5 items on a toy shelf right now. How crazy is that? I don't know.
And everything's exclusive. Nothing will ever see the light of day on a toy shelf ever.
Nope. No, and you know, when they posted those, people were screenshotting those pictures and then getting them in their order, because I'm sure you could order more than one, and already posting them on all the eBays and Mercaris and everything
Right.
else for anywhere from $50 to $100 for each one of them. And I thought, if I'm Hasbro, just make as many of those as you can and sell them at $50 or $100 instead of making them exclusive. You're letting someone else profit off the product you're making.
Yeah, because the thing is you're pre-ordering.
Right.
So it's not like they only have 500 of them. They're going to make those.
Right.
I don't understand that. You know, how is there not somebody in an executive office somewhere saying, "Hey, our pre-order sell out in 10 seconds. What if we like sold stuff for 5 minutes? How much could we sell? How much money could we make?"
Right. No, I agree. And I don't, again, Star Wars fan, Hasbro Toys fan, all that kind of stuff. So I don't mean to hate, but I was just really frustrated that one of my 5 favorite characters in Rex, I'm going to have to end up paying $50 to $100 for that one character just because it sold out that quick on pre-order. But I guess that's my problem, not everybody else's. Mass, did I see, not Star Wars related, but toy related, did I see you did pick up some Deadpool characters?
I did. I got the Deadpool with the from the movie Deadpool with the like the dirty uni, and I got Domino.
Okay.
From the movie.
Yeah, right.
She
That's
was
from
like,
Deadpool 2, right?
From Deadpool 2, yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I got her for like $9. I was pretty happy about that.
And they were both 6-inch characters.
Yes. Yeah. Marvel Legends series. They were cool. I wanted to play with them. I really did, but
well, get them out. Play with them.
Well, I can't. You can't just play with the 2 of them. You need all of them. I need Weasel and Dopinder and all the rest of them. But
who was the guy that had no name, or there was just a no name guy that he was like, I don't have any superpowers, nothing.
Just showed up.
Paul.
Paul.
Sugar Bear.
Yeah.
I do love the Deadpool movies. Those are great. Ryan Reynolds does that very well. I'm glad after Green Lantern that he turned it around and made a good quality superhero movie.
I did like the little post scenes credit of him using the time machine to go back and correct that error. That was pretty good.
You're welcome, Canada.
If there's an actor right now that is not a Star Wars related actor that I can meet, he's got to be right up there, because there's just something about his sense of humor that cracks me up. Plus, I'd have to meet him because my wife would never want to leave my side and just be staring at him. So anyway, that's another story for another time. Before we get into Bad Batch and all that kind of stuff, Alfie brought up a good point that I thought we would discuss. Obscure items in the background of Star Wars movies or shows. That how did you phrase that, Alfie? Obscure items in the background, like
you'd like to know the story of how they got there.
Okay, yeah. So hit me, Alfie, with something that's an obscure item in the background that you'd want to know, or how it got there.
Well, I'll just go with Bad Batch. She has a Mandalorian helmet and 2 pistols that look like Jango Fett's hanging on the wall.
In her room?
Yeah.
I haven't even noticed that. Did I miss that?
Who
Yeah.
does Omega?
No, Sid, the
Oh, see, I'm thinking
okay.
you're talking about Omega.
no.
Huh.
Oh, now damn it,
I know.
Alfie. Now I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Which episode was it in, or is it in everyone she's in?
I don't know the exact one, but I think it's been in a couple.
Okay. All right.
It's in the background hanging on the wall.
Okay.
I will have to look into that. Mass, can you think of any obscure items that are in Star Wars movies or shows that stand out to you and you want to know how they got there?
I'm still trying to figure out how the Luke's lightsaber got to what's her name?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good one.
That is.
Yeah.
That it's so Alfie's other thing was plot lines not finished. And so I would say that fit into both sections. Obscure items and plot lines not finished. It's one of the most frustrating things I would say of the sequel trilogy is that plot line and then that item's there. Doesn't make any sense to me. I will throw one in there that I'm not sure I've got the answer on it, but I'm hoping as I rewatch this, I'll get it. I watched Star Wars, the first episode of Star Wars Droids on Disney Plus the other day. Fun, goofy, silly, 1980s, not that great animation, but fun. And the lead character who does he's a racer, who takes over R2 and 3PO. He said, or he was looking for something in his racer and said, "Oh, you know what? Here's something the guy before me, he left it in here, opens it up, it's a lightsaber." So instead of using the Force, though, throughout the episode, whenever they need to get in a door or break something, he just take out the lightsaber, slice it, put it back away. Where the heck did that come from? And which Jedi was this? Because if I'm not mistaken, Star Wars Droids took place before before the prequels, even maybe. I know it took place before the original trilogy, and I know it's not canon. But you know what? It's Star Wars, and I'm watching it, so to me, it's out there. I want to know where that freaking lightsaber came from, and maybe I'll find out. And there's probably people listening right now who'll say, "Watch the rest of Droids, and you'll see where it came from." But I completely forgot about it. But when he took it out, I thought, "Why is there a lightsaber just sitting around where R2 and 3PO are?" So that's one I'll do right there. Go ahead, Alfie.
The armor in the Mandalorian, when she opens her chest, it looks like there's a lightsaber there.
Really? See,
Yes.
I just watch and I don't take all this stuff in. I should, because I don't remember that. Do you remember that, Mass?
Well, who opens what chest?
The armor in the Mandalorian.
Shut
When she
up.
takes all her tools out, you can see it looks like she sits down the hilt of a lightsaber.
Man.
Which would make sense because she's making stuff out of Beskar, so maybe she just uses it to test its durability, but still. Where'd she
Where'd
get
it come from? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got another one. How about Princess Leia's outfit on Endor? I mean, are there seamstress people there making dresses for humans?
The Ewoks ate somebody.
The Ewoks ate someone and it just happened to be the same
Yeah.
size that Princess Leia was.
Right.
Okay.
She had a bag somewhere. I mean, come on.
With Endor apparel on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All right.
just like when
There's a
Rey gets
mall.
back to the Resistance base, they just happen to have a whole new outfit for her.
There's a
And then
mall at the end of the tree line.
When she gets to Luke's island, she has a new outfit.
Man, see, that stinks.
She's
Did
a
you-
princess, man. Come on.
Okay, how about this? How about this one? Plotline / item. The item was Finn was in a tube at the end of Force Awakens, but in the beginning of The Last Jedi, he was in a different tube, and this was all of minutes later, a different tube filled with water and tubes shooting water into it. When did that happen? Can I get a story that tells me when they switched him out? I mean, I don't know how that happened. Maybe I missed something. Did they explain that somehow?
I wish I would have missed that where he was walking around shooting water everywhere.
Leaking.
I would have rather have not seen that, but whatever. Can't be
Okay.
done. Can't be undone.
Okay. Alfie or Mass, any other miscellaneous obscure items or plot lines not finished?
I had one, but then I forgot once I started thinking about the leaking.
I don't have any, no.
Okay. All right. Well,
I would-
go ahead.
I would at some point like to know what happened to Luke's green lightsaber.
At the end, when he was fighting Kylo, he had a blue one again, although that was an image. He didn't use his green one against Rey when she was there on Act 2 with him.
Did it
Okay.
blow up on the second Death Star?
He had it in the Mando series.
Oh, that's right.
Or did he make a new one?
Mm.
I like that. Just off to another tangent. I like that they put him having a yellow lightsaber for a while in the comics recently, because I think it really plays off the 1978 version of Luke Skywalker who had a yellow lightsaber, and I think they were just trying to make it seem like that fit back to the toy from that time frame. I don't know.
I would agree.
Okay. Good. So another story item that I saw, well, if you think of more obscure or plotline things, please come back to them. Just shout them out.
Well,
Feel like Arnold Horseshack. Just ooh.
What led me to that was rewatching Solo and seeing Dryden Voss's office and all the little things sitting around. Because there's a story behind every one, how he got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't they say that they took some of those out of like expanded universe stuff and popped them in there, just dropped them in?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. You know what we probably need to do, and I know our wives and significant others would not care for this. We probably need to watch each movie together as a group. Some of us have notebooks and others not, and like take down notes of things that we either see or think about and actually go into them deep into a discussion, because sometimes I just sit there and take it in. I don't think, but I'm sure someone like you, Alfie, sitting by me going, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that?" That would help me immensely. We probably got, out of 11 movies, we probably have 30 shows coming out of those 11 movies with all those discussion points and everything like that.
Yeah. Could you imagine watching that with Enzo and I? Because he's just as bad as I am.
No, one of you at a time, because the two of you would be, I would be like, I can't hear the movie, because you'd both be going, "Do you see it? Do you see that?" But I would like to do like Mystery Science Theater used to do, to where we maybe rent out a theater and we all just sit in the front row or the certain row and all talk about it during, just have the back of our heads in there. I think that would be kind of fun.
I like it.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that. So a storyline that I saw was Pedro Pascal, when he was talking to Ewan McGregor recently, said that they haven't shot anything for Mando season 3. I don't think it's in the near future if they're going to shoot anything for Mando season 3. If the Book of Boba Fett's coming out around Christmas time, and that just wrapped up, so that's 6 months out, there's no way anything's coming out in the near future for Mando season 3. I think we're looking at least mid to late 2022 before that comes out. Would you guys agree? I mean, there's no plans or schedule laid out for us.
I would agree, especially after that interview with Tamura Morrison saying that it was like 7 months to shoot the Book of Boba Fett.
Did they say how many episodes that was going to be, by the way?
No, I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, they probably had to do some rewrites with Cara Dune. They probably had to change a character out.
Or both Mando and Book of Boba Fett, or just Mando?
Well, for Mando, I mean, I don't think they could start shooting until they've rewritten or replaced that character, or even if they, had decided to go with that, and now they can't.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, since we're talking about Mandalorian, you guys can keep talking for a second, but I figured for those watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to see some of the gifts that I got this weekend at the Star Wars birthday party. Mass actually got me baby Grogu and the Mando tea, green tea and black tea. Very cool collector's tins that they're in. So really happy with that. And you mentioned the rewrite with Cara Dune in it or without it. Brent actually made a Legion's version of Cara Dune for me. So
Cool.
that'll go with my 3 3/4 and my 6-inch version. And then Alfie and his family and little Miss Azalea got me this Star Wars Mission Fleet set with Miss Cara Dune to go along with Mandalorian, Grogu, a Stormtrooper, and IG-11. So that was pretty cool. I was not expecting any of that stuff because the invitation did say no gifts, please. But, I guess I'm a charity case and I'll take all that stuff anyway. So I just wanted to throw that in there while we were talking about it. I've got a few other topics to hit here. Any other topics that you guys want to talk about before we hit the few that I've got and talk Bad Batch here tonight? Anything new? Go ahead, Alfie.
I thought it was pretty interesting, the news that came out late yesterday, early today about Emilia Clarke, her desire to revisit Kira. It just seems kind of a coincidence that she just happens to show up in this War of the Bounty Hunters comic series. And, with that, it really seems like the fan push to make Solo 2 happen is really gaining some momentum. I really look to see this kind of snowball.
We've talked about it before, and I'll just rehash it. Well, one, yes, I agree. So once she heard she was in the comic or saw she was in that comic, it's really kind of lit the fire under her to talk about it more. I think we all agree. Everybody on Rule the Galaxy, all the people who come on and off the show, all agree they want to see more of that. I can't remember from you two. I think I would prefer to see it in Disney Plus form right now because I think you can jump deeper into Maul, Kira, Solo, Lando, all those kind of characters. Are you guys preferring one or the other, Disney Plus or movies? For
Disney Plus, for sure.
Okay, Mass.
I don't really have a preference. I enjoyed the movie. I wouldn't mind seeing another one, but I guess I would prefer the Disney Plus one if that's what it came down to. If I got to choose,
I just don't see Solo. I think the Solo story kind of format is hindered by the structure of a movie. I think it would much better fit a series where it could just flow a lot easier. You wouldn't necessarily have to have the Solo. To me, doesn't have the big bad that necessitates a movie.
Do you guys think, and this was not on my list, but now that we're on it, do you guys think that COVID and then adding in Disney Plus all at the same time might put a negative?
Yes, I think Disney started COVID.
No. Well, it did help. I'm sure it did help them. But do you think it affected how people are wanting to see Star Wars in the future? Because
absolutely,
I really think unless it's a numbered movie right now, unless it's a 10, 11, 12 or something like that, do movies work better than a Disney Plus series? I mean, is our viewing preferences and habits changing on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to a 10 to 12 episode series, and you can't fit that kind of story into a 2.5 hour movie.
See, like the prequels, I think would have been much better as a Disney Plus thing, because like the Revenge, you guys love Revenge of the Sith, or whatever
Yes.
that's called. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But for
Revenge of
me,
the Sith, yes.
yeah, I don't like that one, so I don't remember. But for me, like if that was a Disney Plus series where they could show the progression of like Anakin turning, that would have done things for me. That would have been better for me.
Yeah. Think how long into the Mandalorian season it was before they ever even introduced an actual villain in the series.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
great.
didn't immediately have to cut, 15 minutes into the film and say, okay, we showed you the bad guy. Now here's the good guy. You can just flow with the story.
Man, you're right. I mean, but the thing that's so great about movies is that camaraderie. It's that going and standing in line, going and sitting in that nice comfy seat now and getting a bucket of popcorn and some Twizzlers or gummy bears and a big slushie and just going, dude, I'm just going to lock in on this and go. So, we've got another special guest hopping on here with us. We'll ask him the same thing here in a minute, but you guys keep going while I admit Brent. Yeah, out of the blue. So I agree with you. I mean, I really am digging everything that's going on Disney Plus right now, but I do miss movies. I miss going to the movies. So, and Brent, I'm going to ask you, how are you?
Doing good. What's up?
Not much. I really like your shirt.
Yeah.
For those of you watching on YouTube or not watching on YouTube, it's like almost an American flag kind of looking Star Wars shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. We were just discussing, Brent, and so I know you being a visual guy and being someone who likes to talk about the volume and the way to set up the movies and the shows and all that. Has Star Wars, has COVID and Disney Plus and Netflix and Amazon Prime, have all those things coming together changed our viewing habits so much that we get probably more excited for a series on Disney Plus than we do for a movie of, let's say, Star Wars movie versus Star Wars Disney Plus show?
Loaded question in a way.
Okay.
It definitely has changed the viewing habits because we are creatures of habit, and it takes 21 days to create a habit. So I would say that we definitely are watching more television because we had to, and there was no movie theaters.
Mass is just being weird. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So I mean, I get it. So but I think eventually as things normalize and there is more focus on the theaters, I think it'll go back. But as of right now, the medium that everybody is throwing everything at happens to be the streaming services. That seems to be the focus of the marketing. That seems to be the focus of the production from Lucasfilms, both with their two Disney's, basically, the two major franchises, both Marvel and the Star Wars universes. So yeah, I mean, I think we will have to break that habit, and it'll take something major. It'll take some big movie or something like The Sixth Sense. And I'm saying that because The Sixth Sense was a small budget movie, but like it's one of those. It was like one of the first ones that I remember people like, you just got to go watch it. You just got to, because no one wanted to spoil it, and you just got to go watch it. And it was like the number 3 movie its first weekend. Then it was the number 1 movie the second weekend. It was the number 1 movie the third. It just had a staying power with it, where there's gonna to be something like that where people are just like, you just have to go experience it. You just have to go experience it.
Well, I miss those days. I want that to come back around again, because thinking about the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us, however many can do it, going together and experiencing that, and the anticipation, waiting, and then the discussion afterwards, I think is something that makes movies and Star Wars great. So
yeah, but with an episodic version though, like that's one thing that I do like about what Disney is doing with all of their MCU and with all of the Star Wars that they've released, they're releasing it in an episodic way to allow there to be discussion and to allow there to be continual talk. Because if it was released all in one lump sum like Netflix, it'll be like, where are you at? I'm on episode 4. I'm on episode 4. And then you don't want to talk about it. And then you never get around to talking about it. So being that they're releasing it episodically, you can do an appointment television and then you can talk about it knowing that everybody's watched it to a certain degree. So yeah, you may catch a spoiler if you check out the internet early, but if you avoid it and then you watch it, then you can go check and read all the information that you want to, knowing that that's out there. Like you can insulate yourself from spoilers to some degree.
Agreed.
But if it was like a Netflix series and different people have different life, and some people would watch the entire series and want to talk about the entire series, but I believe this allows you to give that speculation to talk about it individually on individual shows. I like that version. I like it being released that way.
Okay. Well, good. Well, good. We were just bouncing that around real quick, and I thought when you popped in, I just asked you that question right away since we'd all kind of hit on it a little bit. Another quick topic that I was reading about the other day was the new Marvel Avengers campus in Disneyland. And the article was basically stating, unlike Galaxy's Edge, Marvel's Avengers campus didn't put any timeline on it. You could hop in and see things from the MCU to things from way back when on Spider-Man or Captain America or whatever, and it's all there. So you could see any and all characters coming and going, and it's not locked into that, well, it's happened at Batu between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and that's the time frame, right? And I personally think I enjoyed Galaxy's Edge. I can't wait for some future time where multiples of us can go and enjoy Galaxy's Edge together. But I do think one of the things that was missing was we're going to focus on this one time frame and kind of say, okay, well, you're never going to see Darth Vader walk through, or you're never going to see, a regular stormtrooper. It's just sequel trilogy stormtroopers coming through, or you're never going to see the Mandalorian come through, right? These are things where people want to see. But do you think it's a good thing the way Marvel's going with this new thing, or am I just making too big of a deal of it with Galaxy's Edge just pigeonholing themselves in that small period of time? Alfie, go ahead.
I think Galaxy's Edge is already trying to correct that with new additions of characters.
Okay. I think we talked about it briefly. Was it Mandalorian characters?
In Rebels, I do believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I can dig that. They need that stuff on there. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
if I can see Hera walk through, or Sabine, that would be really cool. The painted up, the graffiti Mando outfit coming through, that would be very cool. And seeing Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm all for that. So, Alfie, you've been to Galaxy's Edge, right?
Yep.
Brent, you've been. Mass, you have not.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
I have not made it.
I'm still telling you, I think a good weekend or 3 or 4 day trip for all of us would be zoom down, let the wives stay at the pool, and us go hit the Galaxy's Edge. I think that would go over very well. Ladies, we're here for you. I promise. But we're going to be gone for 1 day. So okay, that was the Avengers campus discussion. Brent, I brought it up earlier. You're a visual guy. Have you checked out Star Wars Droids that just got released on Disney Plus?
No, I have not. I saw that it was released basically right after our last show, I feel like. Sometime in that time frame, so like last week. No, I have not had a chance to sit down and watch it. Truth be told, I started watching NCIS, and that's kind of dominated my so I've been watching a lot of that because there's like 17 episodes on Netflix, and I'm kind of into it. But no, I mean, I want to watch it. I've heard you guys talk about it, you and Shesky and some of the other podcasters that I've listened to, and some of the people that have been on the show. It's I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if I'd get into it. It's kind of like the Ewoks. I really have not like put any time into the Ewok shows either. I remember watching like 5 minutes of them when I was a kid and turning it off. And I basically did the exact same thing when I watched it on Disney Plus, the Caravan of Courage one. So I'll try it. Yeah, I mean, I was watching Resistance. I got into like towards the end of the season of Resistance, so I can talk some Resistance, but I haven't got into the droids.
Okay, I would say it's one to check out. I think it's personally better than the Ewoks series or the Ewoks cartoons. It's fun. Anthony Daniels does the voice of C-3PO. It's some silly adventures, but if you get the time, go check it out. I think it's fun. It's quirky. It's not Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and Rebels. It's not to that quality at all. But it's 1980s and it's interesting. And Alfie will tell you, Boba Fett is in the intro of every one of the Droids cartoons. So it's very cool to see him zoom by a few times. You were speaking of last week's show, and I just want to go back to it because we had so much fun with Mark Thompson. I thought he was just a great guest, and he sent us over some little bumpers of him doing some voices, which we're going to start using those. So really excited about that. Just great. But we've all talked about High Republic here before. Some of us read some of the books or listened to some of the books. Some of us have not. But I was looking after that discussion. I was like, if he's that excited about it, it might be time to check that out again. I've already read the first few novels, but June 29th, The Rising Storm comes out. And that is Cavan Scott. July 27th, Out of the Shadows comes out by Justina Ireland. And then August 31st, The Tempest Runner, which is just an audio drama. It's not even going to be a book. It's just going to be an audio drama. So an audio book, but with multiple characters, like playing roles. That one also looks like is by Cavan Scott. So June 29th, July 27th, August 31st, we will have those three. So keep your eye on them. I'm probably going to check them out. I've already checked out the first few. You guys have any? Are you interested, especially after talking to him, Brent? Did that bring up any interest level for you to check that out?
So basically, going on what you said about the first one, which is at the Into the Light or
Light of the Jedi.
Light of the Jedi. Basically saying because everything was brand new and the world building took so hard, it was hard to listen to. You kind of needed to have a scratchbook or something next to you. So I've kind of held off because I haven't been ready to jump into it. I've been doing a lot of the lighter fare audiobooks from the old EU. And so, no, I haven't jumped into the High Republic. There's a part of me too that I know this is like a big, I think there's like 25 books. And I know that there's a comic book series that's running parallel to it too. So like, I think I might be overstating the 25 books, but I know that there's several books in the series. Like they spent 5 years planning it, I believe. So like it's a big to do, and it's one of those things that I might jump into after it's done.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, these three next novels, that'll make 6, right, Alfie? Won't that be 6?
I think so. I've read the first 3.
I read the first 3 as well. I'm looking forward actually to the audio drama by the Tempest Runner. So that means I've really got to book it on Rising Storm and Out of the Shadows because you got to get through those before you can get to that third one. Go ahead, Brent.
So the question I guess I'm going to ask you guys, because there's 3 books and there was this big social media thing about The Rock, Geode or something like that. So can you give me some insight into that? Is he basically is the Geode basically the source of was it a Jedi? Was it a force bearing rock? Did it emanate the force? Or what
Just
was that
rock.
character?
It was just a rock.
It's a rock.
So he was the co-pilot of a ship.
The navigator
of a ship. He never spoke, but throughout the book, occasionally someone would talk to him, and it's almost like they would feel what he was thinking or agree or disagree with what kind of he was giving off. And somebody would be back in the galley and they'd look up and Geode would be in there. And then they'd have to think, how did he get here? He's just a rock. So it was very, I hope they don't make an action figure of Geode because it's just a rock.
I bet you'd be able to get that one, Joe.
Pre-order. Alfie,
So
go on
it
to
was
it more before I, Brent, 1 second. Alfie, more? Am I missing something on him? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, he was just a rock, and he, like you said, they felt like they could feel what he was thinking or wanted them to do, and he was supposedly really good with navigation and star charts, and he would just show up places. And yeah, they were kind of like, well, how did he get here? He's just a rock. And he had connections in the underworld when they needed to get on the black market. I don't know.
I gotta tell you,
I mean,
you
it's
two
Star
guys
Wars, so I just went along with it, but it's just a rock.
Okay,
you guys
so-
are making me not want to read this book.
Well, I mean, I basically saw all the reports that said exactly what you guys are saying. And I was wondering if I was missing something or if they were missing something, because everybody, again, the mismanaged expectations, but he's just a rock. Okay.
But didn't they mention something too in the book, Joseph, that was he in like a metamorphosis state or something?
I don't know, because there were, okay, so he's not the main character, Brent and Ryan. He's like a third tier character, but obviously when they're in and out of that ship a lot, he's around. There were other characters that were pretty good characters in the book. But that one just missed on me. And Steve Glosson, when he was on the show one time, he didn't really want to rip on the rock Geode, but he said, when He-Man Masters of the Universe was tanking, they thought, here's an idea. We made a character on everything else. Let's make one based on rocks. And he goes, and they were just rocks. And he goes, and nobody ever bought them. And they just sat there, but they thought it was a good idea. And he was like, I'm a little nervous that Star Wars has made a character that's just a rock. So go ahead, Brent. I'm sorry.
No, I just was wondering if I missed something. If just seeing what you guys and what your take on the Geode was, like I just wasn't sure, because again, I haven't dove into it at all. So yeah, it's again, like I'm holding out hope that it gets turned into something cartoonish. Like when I heard about the High Republic, I was thinking it was going to be multimedia, not just the digital media or print media. I was hoping that it would also have some other tie-in that would be. Now I understand comic books are a little bit more, but I was hoping that there would be some sort of animated series or something with it.
So I will say this, Alfie, with you being a collector like me, maybe I'm way off, but when it came to Shadows of the Empire, when it came to the expanded universe based around the Thrawn trilogy, the initial Thrawn trilogy, where they actually made a Thrawn, actually made a Mara Jade, actually made a Prince Xizor, a Dash Rendar, and they were selling those figures while the books were out, and they were selling those figures while comics were out, and then they were making video games that were based off those books. Why are they not doing that with this? If they're going to go in this huge thing with the High Republic, is it just me, or would it sell better if you could read the book and have the junior version of the book and have a character to go along with it, or have a video game to where you can see the characters from the book in a video game? If they're not going to make a movie or an animated series, I just feel like that's marketing 101. Either get them to like the game and want to read the book, or get them to read the book and want to buy the game, or vice versa with the characters. So that's just my 2 cents. Am I way off, or would you guys agree?
No,
That's
you're
where they
right
should have
on.
gone.
You're right on. There needs to be
100%.
something to go along with the print media. And a video game seems, just like the easiest thought you would have had. especially when you have, you're basically making the format that was Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, it's not developing a game is not quick. It's not a quick process. It takes a while to get through a development of a game. But if they were developing the game at the same time that they were developing the story group and working with the story group, then they could have released it somewhat in the same time frame, because it takes a while to get through a lot of that stuff. So, and the same thing, like if on Rebel Force Radio they were talking to that one guy who was the toy guy. They talk about the brand managers basically stay in the 3-year lifespan, and they clean up and then they have to produce another one. So this guy who is the current brand manager probably had no idea that they were building the High Republic, so they had no idea to create those High Republic toys.
Could be.
Seems like a company that you go to their theme park and all it is toys and collectibles. Would be on top of that.
Correct.
But they're just the parent company, right? They're like Lucasfilm Limited is still the one that's running the show, right?
They still own it.
Right, but
saying.
like, I mean, but so they also own ESPN, right? I mean, they also own they own a lot. They own ABC television too. Like there's a lot that they're just the owners of that they may not have their hands in, and they trust ABC.
Well, that's my point, is that's their fault for not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You made a theme park out of your property. Why not develop some of, the other aspects of that property?
It's kind of mind-boggling too. I mean, because all the profits that could be made off that, and nobody's making them. It just does not seem to be, something's not flowing right over there.
Agreed. But I mean, here we are. We're still doing a weekly podcast about it. How great is that? We've got a company that we're going, hey, can you do this better? Can you do that better? But we're going to talk about you for at least an hour a week and prop you up because we like what you have.
I just want the products to be better.
True. Very true.
More.
Yes, or more accessible, right? More accessible. How about that? So I tell you what, we've talked about a handful of different things. One of the things I wanted to hit on tonight was our weekly kind of roundup and discussion on the Bad Batch, number 8. We are halfway through season 1, if there's going to be more than one season. Number 8, Reunion, which, Brent, I think you finally started getting your wish right away. I'll let you guys kick it around, hit on some of your key points, hit some of the things you like. The last 2 episodes have tickled my fancy. The last 2 episodes have hit me right where I need to be hit watching Star Wars. So, Brent, I'll let you start off, Mr. Visual, since it was a visual thing.
It's just a filler episode. Nothing really much happened. It was just filler.
Vicious.
I mean, like, so where do you start with it? So I like the fact that they went back and brought back the Republic, the Empire, and you get to see a little bit more of Crosshair and his crew. And they thought they knew what they were doing. They thought they knew, and Crosshair was like, no, you got to do it this way. And he kind of overruled a couple of the people trying to run the show. Like, trying to go back to a little bit, but it was good to finally get back to Crosshair to see where he is. Then there's a part of me that were like, because of, and I'm jumping to the end, the way that it ended up, he kind of looks like he might turn into Dengar, but I also know it probably isn't Dengar, because I'm sure there's an origin story for Dengar, but like he kind of ended up kind of looking like Dengar, and that's kind of where
he did look like him. He's not him, but he did look like him. Yeah. Initial thoughts, Mass or Alfie?
Go ahead.
I really liked the episode. Yeah, I've enjoyed all the other ones, but this one, it felt like they were finally doing something Bad Batchy. So
Bad Batchy.
Yeah.
I love
What
it.
is that? What does that mean? Like, so can you describe what you mean by batchy? Because they were fighting or what?
Yeah, and working as a unit, kind of going back to their skills, working against Crosshair, he knew all their tactics, but still, like when Wrecker said, how about playing 7 or whatever,
Yeah.
Getting back to being that unit and not the, okay, we'll do a job for you, so you do a job for us. That the past episodes I felt kind of were in a rut. And kind of excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And
Mass.
I
Go
will
ahead.
say that's on me because that was my expectation of the show, was kind of the badass rogue clone unit out fighting, doing stuff.
Okay.
Well,
Mass.
for me, it kind of came down to, when he tells Hunter, we're soldiers. What are we gonna do? We should have joined Rex. And to me, that's kind of like where it's shaping into for me.
Right.
I thought that was kind of a really important piece of,
Dialogue.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my dialogue, but yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. What Cad Bane's appearance was fantastic. I know he's one of your favorite characters, but it was good to see him. I love the gunfightish way that they went about it, and the gunslingers, and I think who was it, Alfie or Nick, that brought it up on Twitter, the POV shot out of his helmet was pretty awesome. So I thought it was a really good episode. I had a lot of fun with it.
So Diana, I just took an Obi-Wan out of the case there. It's really cool, by the way.
Now, did you think it was great because of the cameo of one blue guy, one blue bounty hunter? I mean, is that what made it good?
No, he was just a bonus. I just thought that, like I said, when he tells him, we should have joined Rex, and we're soldiers. What else are we gonna do? That kind of did it for me. That made it a good episode for me.
I especially like that he said it in the wreckage of all the Republic cruisers.
Yes,
Like that was the death of them being clone troopers.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, guys, so Cad Bane is just cool as can be. And I think when they came up with him in Clone Wars and put him in, I was like, it's gunslingers, it's shoot out the OK Corral right here, and he's just so cool. Go ahead, Mass.
Where are they taking Omega?
So I thought that was key. I thought that was key to the series, because you could have gone for the next however many episodes, right? And just kept going the story along. I think it was key halfway through to say, we're going in a different direction. It used to be, I think we were thinking, how are they going to go turn Crosshair back to good? And they're going to keep going along with Omega and these adventures. Now it's, oh crap, we got to keep running away from him and now go find her. So I think it was very
Crosshair's
halfway through. You don't think he's coming back?
I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's gonna. I think he has been Yoko Ono'd, and he is not. He is not coming back to the Beatles, baby.
Oh man, that's the title of the show. Crosshair is Yoko Ono. There we go. Yes, I have to write.
You don't think he could come back? You don't think he could come back and redeem himself at all?
I think he could. I don't think he's going to.
Okay. Yeah.
He's either going to become somebody else. He's either going to become a different character, bigger, higher, more badass guy, or he's gonna end up being dead. I think.
I agree. I think right now, I hope they figure out a way at the end to click that chip and get him back? I do, but I think he might make that ultimate sacrifice to to like say, I'm not coming back, but here's my way of proving myself. Alfie, go ahead.
I don't think this is really what's going to happen, but it's what I hope is that her little telling him about the inhibitor chip and him going back, figuring it out on his own, and possibly seeing the Empire's plan to stop using the clones, maybe get rid of them, might be a way for his redemption.
Okay, I can see that.
So it might not be directly saving the Bad Batch, but it might be something inside of the sabotaging the Empire.
I'm still holding out hope for a clone rebellion insurrection on Camino when they find out that they're going to be eradicated.
I think that would be a great storyline. And how many people would love to see stormtroopers here, clone troopers here, just going back and forth, going
yeah.
down? People would love that. I think a couple key things. Obviously, you've mentioned it. We go back to Camino. Always good to go back to Camino, see what's going on there. Rampart, he's in charge, and he was kind of telling the Caminoans, however you want to say it, I make the calls here. I need to know everything that's going on here. He wanted to get rid of batch 90, the batch 99. I will say this, just a quick note, Brent, we brought it up last week. Always watch these with these subtitles for the closed captions. It does help. It does help to see things you might miss in what's going on. One of the things that came up to me though was, now that we've seen Cad Bane, now that we've seen Fennec Shan, I will still go back to it. I called this shot before Bad Batch started that I thought we would see Cad Bane versus Boba Fett, because it was the unfinished arc from Clone Wars before they close it down. And I think this is a good opportunity for it to happen. I don't know if it's going to be like the Bounty Hunter Wars, where on the way, Cad Bane gets attacked by Boba Fett, and he and Fennec Shan team up for the original team up to go against Cad Bane. I don't know. Maybe somebody's paying Boba a little bit more money than somebody else is paying Cad Bane for this, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Am I way off base? Could that happen? Go, Alfie.
I was really on board with that happening, but after rewatching the episode, I think it may have already happened.
What, you think Boba Fett and Cad Bane already had a confrontation?
Yeah, because it looks like he has a metal plate on the top of his head.
Well, it could have happened, but in the Clone Wars version, didn't Boba Fett kill Cad Bane?
Right.
So I'm just
saying that they've already met one
Okay.
time, like it was in the
okay.
unfinished.
Okay.
We may see a follow-up to that.
Gotcha. I didn't notice the metal plate thing. I didn't see that. Go ahead, Brent.
So I'm not a Clone Wars connoisseur like you, and there's two things. I'm also not a music interlude kind of guy. Was the Western Slowdown a Cad Bane music, or was that just to set the stage? Because when they showed him coming from the boots up, it was like at the saloon, and there was like a Western music in the background. Is that a Cad Bane music, or was that just to kind of set the mood for and to let you know and kind of trigger the whole showdown at the OK Corral?
That is a very good question.
Did you guys notice that at all?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because
I just thought it was for effect.
Okay, which is
I-
fine. And then the second thing was, again, I'm not a Clone Wars expert. It sounded like Cad Bane sounded different.
I thought his voice did sound different.
Okay, so it wasn't the exact same Cad Bane voice that I remember from the Clone Wars.
No,
No.
it sounded a little different.
Okay.
Mass,
Because
I didn't
There's more
remember
of a-
the tubes on the side of his head either.
they were
from
there.
the clone. Were they?
Yeah. I remember those. Yeah.
So Mass has let me know that he is slowly but surely losing. I hope your message meant that your computer was going to be dying soon, Mass, because just
Yeah.
seeing I'm dying soon was a
Yes.
little disheartening. So before your computer shuts down,
Uh-huh.
what are some of your thoughts on Cad Bane, Boba Fett? Because I mean, I just wanted to get your input before maybe you had to step away.
I thought it was really cool to see Cad Bane in the episode, but I don't remember Cad Bane and Boba Fett having a confrontation.
They
before.
didn't. It was supposed to happen, but before Disney bought Star Wars.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
got you.
there's an unfinished rough episode of their showdown.
Okay. And so the plate in the middle in the head is from that, you believe, Alfie.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now I got it.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it really moved things along. You know, he grabs Omega, and I really want to know where he's taking him, and I want to know why he's going there. I mean, why the Kaminoans hired the bounty hunters to take him to the buyer, and it's getting pretty interesting for me, I think. I mean, there were a few episodes in there that I thought were kind of boring, but you know, it was kind of like season 1, season 2 of the Clone Wars, but I think we're getting more back to the stuff I enjoyed at the end of it.
And I would say I think they're looking. It almost seemed like Nala Se hired Fennec Shan to gingerly go get Omega, and then Lama Su said, "To heck with that! Your plan didn't work out. I'm sending Cad Bane in there to get him." Now I could be way off, and
Yeah, that's what it seems like, but you don't know that for sure who hired Cad Bane.
Our puppet master Palpatine could have hired either one of them.
Oh, we got to go back to there we go. There you go.
You don't even have to go that far. It could be the Rampart, the
Rampart.
Imperial.
Yep, you're right. So, Brent.
So I do want to know, Mass, before you die, and God rest, have peace be with you. Where do you think, since you want to know where it's going, what is your speculation on where they're taking Omega?
I really don't know. I'm hoping it's maybe a new character. I think that would kind of be an interesting way to go. But I mean, really, there's so many possibilities that I don't even want to start to guess where it's going. I just want to watch and find out.
Go, Alfie.
The inclusion of Boba Fett that keeps getting brought up in this series, I would find it interesting to think if her being a clone would have any influence on him.
And we still don't know if she's an unaltered or altered clone, meaning we don't know if she's 6 years old but aged to 12, or if she's actually 12 years old, which would put her, if she was 12 years old, that would be from the time of the Phantom Menace. If she was 6 years old, it would put her in obviously much closer time frame to this. And, you know, if she's at that advanced aging thing. So obviously we don't see any Omega in the original trilogy. So something's got to happen. Is there a way that this precious little angel that everybody says is a cute little character could be taken, could be killed, could be not even around by the time that happens? Or is that too dark for an animated series like this?
I'm all for dark.
That's awfully dark.
There's got to be a first for everything, though, man. That would be great, though.
But
I mean,
clear,
face it. I mean,
go ahead.
Kids don't watch this. It's just nerds like us. I mean,
I would say the target audience, right? So the target audience was the Clone Wars kids, and the Clone Wars kids are probably in their mid-20s right now.
Nick and
So
Joey.
you're like, I would say that is probably their. I mean, they know that they're going to get other kids around, and I know that they're probably going to get the adults and their children. So there's going to be children's eyes on this. But I feel like they know the target audience is in the 20s, like the 20 to 30 range. Like I would, if I was marketing this, that's who I'm trying to market it to anyway, which is why the first episode kind of was the way that it was, which is why they have had some darker moments. I mean, they did have Crosshairs telling the dude to shoot him right in the head. And they did have some dark moments in like the first episode / second episode. So yeah, like it could go dark. I just, if this character, if Omega is Omega and she's some contingency for Palpatine, obviously that contingency went away because there's no mention of her at all in 4, 5, and 6. Like, so something has to happen to get Omega to not be a contingency if that's the route they take. And believe me, I feel like that's lazy storytelling if that's the route that they take. I'm sorry. I'd rather her go to some new character, or I think everybody wants the Boba Fett Fennec Shan, partially because they're a team in Mandalorian and they want to see how they team up beforehand.
Right.
But they could be rivals as well. I mean, they're all bounty hunters, right? I mean, they all essentially they're out by themselves. They may have, the guild hasn't started yet, or is this the beginning of the guild? However, there is an episode of the Clone Wars where Boba is like a 12-year-old who has his own crew, right?
Yeah, the Crate's Claw.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there was a guild before there was a guild before. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, and Fennec is only aligned with Boba because he saved her life. She has a life debt. That doesn't have anything to do with, bounty hunter alliances. Those are, in my opinion, always pretty fickle anyway.
So, let's face it. We have some very key characters that they've figured out ways, good or bad, they figured out ways to make them not show up in the numerical Star Wars movies. Ahsoka Tano, she was very important, but she never showed up in 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. She's still out there, obviously, after 6 because Mando took place after Return of the Jedi. Right. Ezra Bridger, he was right there leading into Rogue One and A New Hope. Got those space whales, boom, he's gone. Creative way to get him. Thrawn, same way. So you have these very key characters in Star Wars that don't end up being in a movie. With that being said, when my question about Omega was, would she be dead? We already know that doesn't have to be the fact or the case. Something could happen over the next 10 years that makes it to where she's not accessible or available when the original trilogy is going on. So am I way off base on that, or we think that those are feasible? Now, personally, myself, I say let's try something new. Let's go in a different direction. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box here a little bit.
I don't know. Filoni's pretty creative, so I think he'll work it out. It'll make sense. Not every character can be Captain Rex and just have like this ongoing story that he somehow stays alive. Yeah, at the very end.
Ahsoka's about the same way though, too, right? So Ahsoka and Rex are both pretty similar in that respect.
Ahsoka, though, you don't know where she came out of the world between worlds. You see her in Mando, but that doesn't necessarily tell you what time she came out of.
Yeah, but it's so at the end of Rebels too, she shows up as an older person too, when her and Sabine say, "Hey, let's go look for Ezra." So she shows up then too, which again is a passage of time. We don't know how much time.
You don't know how much time,
right? But it's definitely. It should be in the Mando or post Mando timeline.
You would think so.
That's the assumption that I think everybody's making on that.
So
that's what I'm making anyway.
Yeah, I just think Filoni is really good at moving characters way out of the timeline and saying they're here. We don't know how long they're going to be here, and it's going to make total sense that when they finally do come back.
So I think legitimately we could see any of the Bad Batch characters that survive or Omega in the current stream of Disney Plus live action shows that are happening after Return of the Jedi, if Filoni's creative enough and can tie them up to where they're not available for
they can always show up like Rex did in Bad Batch with the cloak hidden in a cantina somewhere, just always pulling the Obi-Wan, I'm just biding my time until the Force tells me it's the right time to come back out of hiding.
Yep. Go ahead,
I
Brent.
think well, what I was thinking was I think it depends on whether or not it's a 1-season show or a 2-season show as well. And at this point, we don't have any indication that it'll be a 2-season show. So we don't know. I think are they going to wrap up an Omega storyline by the end of the first season, or are they going to give you a cliffhanger to try to tease for a second season? And I don't know if she has the same kind of public hold on the public as Baby Yoda did.
Exactly
Right.
where I
So
was going.
Baby Yoda had there was momentum from people that I don't even know, that didn't even know Star Wars,
Yep.
But everybody knew Baby Yoda, and obviously it's over Alfie's shoulder. So I don't hear that same kind of attachment to Omega.
Nope.
And I think they maybe were trying to do something like that, but it's not holding.
So
Ahsoka was kind of the same way too when she started.
Yeah, and
it just depends on how long the show's going to be, and the fact that it's animation and not live action.
Yes,
I agree. I'll give you that. It's animation, which has a different audience than the live action, but it also took Ahsoka 4 seasons before she became something where fans actually.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It took 4 seasons. That's a long time to invest.
I agree
in the character. So that's why I'm saying it depends on if it's a 1-season show or not. If it's if they're not going to be back again, then you may see something dark happen to Omega. If they're going to be back, you might see a teaser where.
And you think about the momentum with, Grogu in the live action series, going on. Think about the momentum that they're going to be able to stretch out with him coming back.
Well, and that's okay. That's one of the reasons, not to go off Bad Batch for a minute, but that's one of the reasons why I'm surprised that Mandalorian's not turning right around and coming out, because the most marketable and the most well-known character in the past 20 years was Baby Yoda. Yeah. And now it's going to sit for a year and a half.
I think you'll understand more when it does come out. That's just my feeling.
Okay.
I think there's too much in these shows that are going to tie
so
and then lead up to season 3 of The Mandalorian.
So they need those other things to happen before that comes out. Okay.
I honestly don't think that they had a season I don't think they had a season 3 written for it. So they needed some more time to make sure that they wrote a good season 3. That's personally why I think that they put the other projects ahead of Mandalorian season 3, is because if you remember back to the gallery, he wrote season 1 while he was filming. Favreau wrote season 1 while he was filming the Jungle Book.
Yep.
And then he wrote season 2 while they were filming season 1. So he wrote season 2 while they were filming season 1, I believe, if I remember correctly, when they talked in the gallery. But I don't think, because at the same time when season 2 was going on, COVID hits, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I think that put a lot of things back, and then were in the talks to try to get all these other shows because of the success. So there was a delay in the actual writing of the episodes, and I don't know if there was a story arc or any arc created. And I also think that because of what happened and bringing Boba back, they pitched the idea of running Boba, so I wanted to make sure that they did that beforehand. So I think this is more just like movie making and just the timing of the way things rolled down, at least the way that I'm kind of looking at it.
I agree. That's how I feel. They're striking while the iron's hot on these other shows. Yeah. And it's all going to tie into a big conglomerate of season 3 Mando.
Okay. Yeah, I hope it is like the Star Wars, the SWU, right? I'm hoping that it's that they created this
the Mandalorian Wars.
Oh, gosh. I like it.
That would be.
I mean, that's where the show's going, right? That's what it makes you feel like.
Right. They're going to go back to Mandalore. They're going to have Bo-Katan fighting Din Djarin, and they're going to come in with Boba to help out, or maybe help out on one side or the other.
Agreed. So we've bounced around, obviously, because that's what we do here. Wow.
We're free flowing.
I just shot the missile off the back of the Obi-Wan here that I just opened up. But going back to Bad Batch. Look at that. See that?
That's
killing
beautiful.
me. You're a 10-year-old, your 50-year-old, 10-year-old self opening up your toys.
Well, if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
You know who?
Shh, she's
She'll
not.
do it the next time she's over.
I was gonna say.
But let's go back and make sure that we hit everything on Bad Batch, because I think we all agreed the last few shows have been really, really good. They've hit on a lot of things. We're seeing things, whether it be Rex come back, the chips being figured out, Wrecker turning bad, Cad Bane showing up, knowing that the Kaminoans or Kaminoans have other plans, other thoughts. They called her the contingency plan, right? I
Mhm.
mean, there's got to be something that she's maybe that key that they're going to say, hey, this keeps us in business, even if Palpatine goes the other direction, right? So, is there anything else we missed on that? I mean, Brent, I wish I could say Crosshair was going to turn into Dengar, or but not going to happen.
I know he's not, but he came out with the wraps around his head and the
did.
bandages all over him. I'm like, And then I heard somewhere, I don't know if I read it on a social media forum or something, and it was like, do you think Crosshair is going to turn into a different character? And my brain instantly went to Dengar. And I know that this is a different timeline or whatever, but I was like, he's got wraps all over him like Dengar did. He's going to kind of zombified or mummified. That's Dengar.
Are there any other people we think are going to show up in this Bad Batch series that we're not talking about?
Good question, because I feel like there's more characters from the Filoniverse that you guys would know better from the Clone Wars that might make an appearance.
Alfie, any thoughts? Do you think somebody might show up? That are we going to see Bail Organa? Are we going to see Mon Mothma before they go on to the Endor series? Are we going to see some people like that before this series is over this time?
I'm pulling for Vader.
You think?
Yeah, when they destroyed Kamino. Yeah.
I like it. Him and the 501st coming in.
Landon. Oh yeah, kind of Rogue One-ish, just going hog wild.
Okay.
I think Mark Thompson is onto something too. I think Ahsoka will show up.
You do?
I think it'll be kind of towards the end, just like if we see like the whole comment about will we see Rex again, and we kind of made the comment that we think it'll be at the end. And I think if you see Rex again, it'll be with Ahsoka.
Okay.
It's somebody from the Filoniverse that hasn't shown up yet, that has shown up in everything else that Filoni has done.
Okay. I like it. I'm good with that. Any Vader or Ahsoka showing up in this would be great. And we already know, like we talked about, season 7 of the Clone Wars, what we saw in there was just an appetizer of what we were going to see in this, because the characters who were in that season 7 have been showing up. So is there a possibility Dryden Voss shows up?
Or Bo-Katan too, right? Because Bo-Katan was in season 7.
You are correct. I mean, any of those people who were in season 7, I think, so that leads to Dryden Voss, Darth Maul, Bo-Katan, Vader, Ahsoka. We already saw Caleb Doom. I think we'll see Caleb Doom again. I think they'll run into him somewhere. I think that would be a good connection of him still being on the run and
I could see that.
Telling stories of what it's like to be chased down and all that kind of stuff, and fighting still against troopers and all that. I do think he'd be a possibility of coming back. So
I'd still hold out hope too for Quinlan Voss. I really like to see him come back. He was a Clone Wars.
Yeah.
He's one of Filoni's favorites too, right?
Yeah.
From all the reports that I've heard you guys talk about.
He just really seems like he would fit, that rogue Jedi that they need on their team to get the job done.
That would be cool, to where he jumps in and helps him on some missions and things like that. I think that would be a cool storyline. And for the people who liked him but didn't get enough of him in Clone Wars and would have got more if Dark Disciple would have been made into the Clone Wars episodes it was supposed to be. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I could see that. So, all right. Any other points you guys want to hit? Anything? Mandalorian, Ahsoka, movies, books, anything like that before we before we hop off and give the folks a break and have them stop listening to our crazy voices? Nothing. Mute.
No, I
said it all.
Right. The Bad Batch, man. I just want to see what the next show shows up, right? So see what Friday brings. I like not having any preconceived notions of what's going to happen. Go in with the expectations of, hey, it's one thing that I have noticed though is like we're overanalyzing this, but the storytelling on this is pretty linear and simple. There aren't a lot of like trickster type elements. There aren't a lot of like surprise reveals. They give you something and that they allude to, and then they pay it off in the next episode.
Mhm.
So it, except for record building and building, like that one kind of took off, but we knew it was going to happen. The scrappers, they said, would contact the Empire shows up, right? So it's
Right.
been pretty linear in its storytelling, which is nice. However, I know that there's going to be a couple twists somewhere.
I would agree with you on that. And here's something. And I'll give props to Rebel Force Radio because they do a post game show, post show after every Bad Batch. And I was listening to last week's, and they had paid attention to something that Kevin Kiner, the person who's doing all the music for the Bad Batch, he said he was brought to tears for the last episode of Bad Batch with the music he was doing and what was going on that he was making music for. So I mean, again, not to put in those preconceived thoughts or ideas, I'm open to it being anything, but that really gets me worked up to think that the guy who's making the music for it was like so touched of how this season or series, whatever it is, ends. You know, could it be a great thing of seeing people brought back together? Could it be a death? Could it be
Lots of
know,
deaths.
I mean, it could be, yeah, it could be anything and everything. But I liked what I've seen so far. We're only halfway through, so to have all that and to know that I think it's only going to get better. Besides the first episode, these last two have been the best ones. So where do we go from here? Do they just keep ramping things up, right? So are you guys going to be doing anything Star Wars this week? Brent, is it this week that you're going to be doing something Star Wars at the end of the week?
Yeah, so I mean, I try to do it twice a week, but so Green Games Preserve, I try to host. I'm trying to build up some Legion people other than my Friday night game group because they're legit and hardcore about it. But I try to invite anybody that knows how to play any of the games. So there's X-Wing and there's Armada and there's Legion, and so Game Preserve in Greenwood hosting starts at about noon, and we'll see. I've had some people talk about coming. We've had 12 at our biggest, and that was when we played just Legion, but I'm trying to get other people into and it's all Star Wars, so they're all, so you might be looking at one table where you're looking at a dogfight between a Naboo starfighter versus a First Order TIE fighter, and then you might look over to your side and you see an Imperial Star Destroyer taking on a Corvette from the Rebels in the Armada game, or you might see Vader taking on Count Dooku. So so any of the different versions of the game, people are welcome to come out and play. You're welcome. At this point, they've relaxed the rules a little bit, so you're welcome to come out and watch for a little bit as well. They've relaxed the mask mandate as well if you're vaccinated. So you're welcome to come out and spend some time. Star Wars Wargaming Day in Greenwood.
Yep. So south side of Indy, Saturday the 26th. We'll make sure we put it on Twitter and Facebook and all that. But this Saturday, 26 noon, Game Preserve, Greenwood, which is the south side of Indy. So anybody listening in Central Indiana or nearby who wants to come do that, go check that out. Tweet us, email us. We'll get you all the details. Alfie, any plans for you this week, Star Wars related?
Every day in our house is Star Wars related, man. It's nonstop.
Gotcha.
Your daughter kills me.
I will, as you can see behind me, there's a Rule the Galaxy sign from DDoc 42. I have made space. It will be right here on the wall behind me. So that's one of my projects, Star Wars projects this week. And just like I opened these two Obi-Wans right here, which are very cool. I just opened those up. They were gifts to me for my birthday. I'm also going to open up this Rex, and yeah, and also my parents got me. What was this called again, Alfie?
TIE Striker.
TIE Striker. They found this at a garage sale. Thought I might like it. It's pretty cool.
You can fly those in the X-Wing Legion game, the X-Wing version of the game. They have TIE Strikers.
There we go. See, Brent tying it all together. Well, I'll tell you what. It's been a good show. We've talked about a lot of topics. Brent, glad you could hop in halfway. Sorry we lost Mass halfway. His computer. We didn't lose Mass. Yeah, his text. He sent me a text. I'm going to die soon. And I just looked down. I was like, that's a very ominous text, Mass. Please. I hope you mean your computer.
That's really deep, man.
So look, I'll tie things up. Alfie, Brent, Mass, thank you guys all for being here, always being a part of the show. You know, it's my pleasure to sit here and just ramble Star Wars. And the title of this week's show, this week of Rule the Galaxy, is going to be called Crosshair is the Yoko Ono of the Bad Batch. So we'll post this up probably Wednesday or Thursday. But to you guys, thank you for always being here. To our fans and listeners, thank you so much for being a part of what we do. Follow us at Rule the Galaxy SW on Twitter. Email us at ruletheGalaxySW@gmail.com. We'll take emails on anything, and we want to hear your topics, and we want to talk about what you want to talk about. And follow us on YouTube and Facebook at Rule the Galaxy. So until next week, may the Force be with you.